Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking on our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight is sort of a long one. It's called When the Gavel Comes Down. And that is because this week there are some very strong planets in only 2 signs, and that makes the signs very strong, and they are sextiling each other. So there are 3 planets in Scorpio, 3 planets in Capricorn, harmoniously aspecting each other, and those are 2 very powerful signs indicating stability and survival. And that is why there is the possibility either this week or coming up sometime in the next 6 months. Remember, we just had a solar eclipse in Scorpio last week, and eclipses go for about 6 months or so. So sometime in the next 6 months, possibly fairly soon, there could be an announcement, a final decision, or some sort of serious judgment that is made right now, and it can be made by a person in a position of authority. It could perhaps be a woman. And that decision or announcement or judgment could be very, very final. It would be irrevocable, and there would be no appeal. In other words, it could be heard when the gavel comes down throughout the land, and we would all have to adhere to it. And so there is the possibility that that subject, whatever, or announcement, could have something to do with your long-term security because of 3 planets in Capricorn, and your survival, particularly your financial survival, or some matter of justice, because there are also 3 planets in Scorpio. These 6 planets, which are strong on their own, and then even stronger because they sextile each other harmoniously, simply indicates that they are a powerhouse right now, and we cannot get around that at all. And so there is the possibility that once Mars comes up and actually conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn, which will be about November 10th or November 11th, that could be a time when a final announcement or decision or some sort of serious judgment could be made, and that could be when the gavel comes down and we would have to adhere to it. And that's because there are 3 planets in Scorpio right now which rule justice, patience, loyalty, and above all, survival. And Scorpio is a fixed financial sign, so we're talking about money here. And so the Sun and Venus are conjuncting each other in Scorpio today, and they are joined by Saturn, which is also in Scorpio. And it has been there for a couple of years. It's going to leave on Christmas Eve. But for right now, it simply means that even if there has been a delay in some sort of financing or credit, or if debts are too high, Scorpio rules that as well, that there can be a somewhat loving way of sort of trying to fix that, or trying to reestablish new terms for people to make it a little bit easier for them to pay their bills. On the other hand, those 3 planets are harmoniously sextiling 3 more planets in Capricorn. In fact, Scorpio's own rulers are both in Capricorn right now. That's what makes that sign so strong, because Mars has moved into Capricorn, where it is exalted. It is at its very finest, and it is near Pluto, which is Scorpio's other ruler in Capricorn, and then the moon is also in Capricorn today. And remember, I said that it could be the announcement could be by a woman in a position of authority, because the moon rules women, and certainly Capricorn is a very analytical and a business-oriented sign, ruling large corporations or government agencies. And so what we see is that there's just a bevy of planets, 6 of them, that are all very good, and they are reinforcing each other, and that makes them even more powerful. So the Sun conjuncting Venus in Scorpio, that's wonderful. It means that even if there is justice, it can be motivated by love and a sense of fairness, which is wonderful. Saturn in that sign, which is actually the ruler of Capricorn, so it's sextiling the sign it rules, indicates that you have to learn your lessons the hard way. But if you have learned those lessons, maybe you can be coming into a period of time when your credit rating does get better, or you don't have quite so many bills, and that would be great. Mars is exalted in Capricorn because Mars has a lot of energy, but Capricorn is a slow sign, so its energy is perfectly balanced. And as I said, when it conjuncts Pluto in about 10 days or so, that simply means that there is really going to be something coming down that all of us have to pay attention to. And since Capricorn is not a sentimental sign, it simply means that if a decision or an announcement is made, it will be made only on the facts. And the sign of the best detectives, the two signs are Scorpio and Capricorn. So there is the possibility that after a thorough and long investigation about something where no details were missed whatsoever, over a long period of time, there could be some sort of announcement, and it's not based on sentimentality, and it's not based on your personality or your charm. It's only based on the facts or the bottom line. That's what could be happening when the gavel comes down as well. And then the moon in Capricorn indicates a person who can be somewhat dispassionate and wanting to make a decision for the long term, wanting to make a decision that has something to do with long-term stability and security. Capricorns are very security prone. So we have all of that to look forward to. At the same time, there are 5 planets in the cardinal signs, and they are all squaring or opposing each other, and that means that even though there can be somebody in authority that is willing to make a final decision after careful review of all of the facts, still there can be a lot of people quarreling with each other right now because they all have different opinions. Well, that may remain the same. We've been undergoing that kind of pressure from people all year long. And so Mercury in Libra is being opposed by a strong Uranus in Aries, which means somebody wants to talk about peace and somebody else wants to rebel, so they're not seeing eye to eye. And then the 3 planets in Capricorn, remember Mars, Pluto, and the moon are being squared by that Uranus, and they're also being squared by Mercury in Libra. And all 5 of those planets in the cardinal signs are harshly aspecting the sign of Cancer, which is the sun sign of the United States and Canada. And so even though people can be quarreling among themselves, when the gavel comes down, when somebody makes an announcement after a careful review of the facts, their decision will be absolutely irrevocable and there will be no appeal allowed. And that is because the facts are clear. No one will dispute them. So we have that to look forward to. So this is simply a time when you have to operate from a position of strength and determination. And that is because you need to survive financially, and you also need to think a lot more about long-term stability and how to pay for it. And so those will be our concerns this week. All right, what does all this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that since Capricorn rules the traditional 10th house of career and a person's public reputation, and because those 3 planets in Capricorn are squaring Uranus, which is in your sign, and remember that's going to be Mars squaring Uranus, those are 2 malefic planets. But that Mars is exalted and backed up by being with Pluto and the moon there. I would say, Aries, that your career is subject to change now. And if it isn't now, it is coming up, and that when the gavel comes down and a final decision or announcement or judgment is made, I think it will affect you, Aries. And I think it may adversely affect you. It will certainly challenge you no matter what. So I'm going to advise that you not stay where you are. You should try something new, Aries. I know I've been saying that for a while, but you really need to do that because you know, it's better to be proactive. It's better to look around for something new while you're already in some sort of position rather than lose the position. And, you know, I think that there is going to be somebody in a position of authority that does not think you are well enough qualified to do something. You may not have the correct credentials, or it might be that you haven't been following protocols and policies that are very important now, because that is what assures long-term stability, and somebody is really going to stick to the rules now. And if you haven't been doing that, Aries, or if you have been overestimating your value and it doesn't quite match up with other people's people's estimation of your worth, then there could be a change and certainly a challenge. And I think that is coming up for you, and it could be quite serious. And that's why I'm suggesting that while Jupiter in Leo is trining your sun, I think that you should go for something new and exciting, because you're awfully good at making new starts. And Jupiter will be trining your sun all year. So you have some sort of lucky cheerleading squad behind you that is certainly in your corner. And that is why, with some support like that for a whole year, you really ought to take off, and possibly for distant shores. The further you go, the more successful you will be, because Sagittarius trines your sun as well, and Sagittarius does rule long distances. So you should think about moving or going somewhere else, and it can be that way your reputation will not suffer. In fact, if you start over, maybe you can enhance your reputation instead. But I don't think you can enhance it where you are, Aries, for some reason that has to do just with the way you've been doing things. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when I think that you are going to, it's a good news, bad news time, when I think you are really going to benefit from the fact that Mars, Pluto, and the Moon are all in Capricorn, and they are all beautifully trining your sun, Taurus, which is great. That simply means that when the gavel comes down or a decision is made, it is going to benefit you, Taurus, and Virgo. But it will benefit you simply because you may have a rather consistent track record, which is consistency and reliability do assure long-term stability, and that is the standard now, and that is because survival is at stake. And so I think that will, when the gavel comes down, which could be as early as about 10 days from now, you will certainly benefit, Taurus. And it won't be because of anything you're doing now. It'll be because of some sort of record of consistency that you have had. And the other side of the coin is Capricorn rules pension plans and retirement funds, and there is the possibility, if you have a chance to retire, that you ought to do that, because there could be some good money there for you to get your hands on. And I think you should try that if you can. The bad news part of it is that the 3 planets in Scorpio, which are very strong right now, are the Sun, Venus, your own ruler, and Saturn, and they are opposing your Sun, and Jupiter in Leo is squaring your Sun. There are actually 4 planets in harsh aspect to your Sun and to the Aquarian Sun, and that simply means that there is a financial problem that you have got to cover by saving more money or getting your hands on more money, and you might be able to do that from a retirement fund. But the high cost of living or taxes are going up for you, and you are going to have to find a way to cover additional expenses, which will be much higher than you think. So you've got to prepare for that, Taurus. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, it's really lucky for you that some things are happening right now that are not too easy to see, but you could feel the influence from them, and it would be a good influence. One of the things is that Mars, which had been opposing your sun sign, it had been in Sagittarius since September 14th, it has now moved into Capricorn, and so that opposition doesn't exist anymore. That's wonderful. And that simply means that some very tense situation or an angry person or some threatening influence is able to move on now, and you are not going to be threatened by it. So there is some danger that has passed now, Gemini, and that is good. That means you can calm down a little bit right now, and if nothing else, your nerves don't have to be on edge, or you don't have to worry quite so much as you may have in the last couple of months when you could have sensed danger, because it was around. And the other thing is that Mercury in Libra is now direct, and it is your ruler, and it is trining your sun, meaning that either you can come across some pretty good news that's been delayed, or a very nice person that can want to be a helpmate in one way or another. They could be somebody that could even turn into some sort of romantic tie, but at the very least they're extremely congenial, and that person can be coming into your life and offering to help you, and that would really take the load off right now too, Gemini. So those are small things but good things, and they can comfort you right now. The lack of danger, which has moved on, and the fact that you've got some reinforcements headed your way. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, I think that you are really going to feel the fact that when the gavel comes down, you're going to feel it. And it can be coming down somewhat against you. Not against you personally, because there isn't going to be any sentimentality when it happens. It's going to be a business decision, or it's going to be a decision based on someone's record. And it can have something to do with a change in their career. And it can be a change in your career that is affected, Cancer, and it is going to bring you a wonderful sigh of relief. It's not going to have the effect on you that everyone thinks it'll have, because you could be saying to yourself, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. And that could happen to you, Cancer, and that is because the 3 planets in Capricorn, Mars, Pluto, and the Moon, are all opposing your sun sign, and also Mercury in Libra is squaring it, and Uranus in Aries is also squaring it. So you do have to deal with people who are quarreling among themselves, and they can be trying to pick a fight with you too, or they can be asking you to be a referee. I hope you do not take the bait, Cancer. Don't do that. Just sit back and realize how happy you can be with a little bit more time to yourself. In other words, if a contract is canceled or some business decision eliminates staff and your services are no longer needed, it will not be based on your charming personality. It'll simply be based on somebody's bottom line. Or else, if there has been any discrepancy in your behavior and your reputation has been threatened in some way, you could be held accountable for that as well. However, the 3 planets in Scorpio, the Sun, Venus, and Saturn, are all trining your Sun, and Neptune in Pisces is trining your Sun. So you do not have much to worry about, Cancer, because those 4 signs are very compatible, or those 4 planets in the water signs are very compatible with your sign. And that is why there's going to be some relief. There could even be a little more money coming your way as well, Cancer, despite anybody's decision. And also there is the possibility with that money that you could make a dream come true. So you have a lot to look forward to. And if something is cut now that is associated with your past, I think it's going to give you a big sense of relief. You might not be telling people that, but you could actually be happy about it instead. And I think that's what's going to happen. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time when, of course, you can still be you can still be really feeling optimistic because Jupiter is in your sign and Uranus in Aries is trining it. So I think since Uranus is retrograde, there is the possibility that something that you had done in the past could suddenly drop right on your doorstep. In other words, you could get the opportunity again, Leo, to do something that you've already done before. And even if it had been sort of taken away or canceled before, it could suddenly come back to you, which would be very nice. And there is the possibility under these aspects that there could be a surprise attack as well. It would not be on you, but you could be instrumental in handling it successfully in one way or another. So that's good. It's just that there is financial danger for you because the planets in Scorpio are so strong. And that means that the Sun and Venus and Saturn in Scorpio are squaring your Sun. And that simply means that there are bills to pay or heavier taxes coming up. Maybe you've made more money this year. Well, then that means you owe more taxes on that. Or insurance costs could be getting higher right now. So I think that there are some bills on your horizon that can be a little hefty right now. And when the gavel comes down, it is going to come down on some sort of business decision that involves people in a large organization or in a government agency. And that gavel can be heard throughout the land. It may be some decision that affects all of us in one way or another. I don't think it's going to hurt you, though, Leo. I think the hurt that you can feel is in your pocketbook, either because you've been living a little little bit too high and on too much credit, and now the bills are due, or else you've been successful and now the taxes are due. So that's what you have to pay attention to. And I would put some money away, Leo. You are really going to need it. And I would quit spending as well, because you're going to need every dime you can get your hands on pretty soon. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you are in a perfect spot right now. And when the gavel comes down, when a decision is made or a judgment or some final announcement which will be irrevocable and have no appeal and will be heard by everyone, after thorough investigation, it is going to do you a world of good, Virgo. And that is because the 3 planets in Capricorn, which are Mars, Pluto, and the Moon, all trine your sun. And so that means that the values that someone is basing their decision on are the same values that you have yourself. And so your steady efforts can be lauded or recognized now, and they can even be the standard that is being set and required for a lot of people now. And that is because we've all sort of got to work a little harder at our careers and make sure that our reputations are enhanced if we can. So your reputation will be enhanced, Virgo, because those powerhouse planets, all 6 of them, are wonderfully aspecting your sun sign, and you have Jupiter in Leo right behind your sun sign protecting you. So the 3 planets in Scorpio are sextiling your sun, meaning there can be some more money coming your way. And the 3 planets in Capricorn are trining your sun, which means when a judgment is made, it could involve a step up for you or a promotion for you and more money coming your way, which you richly deserve. And that will be based on the thorough examination of your performance, which people really like. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is simply a time when I think that you are involved in some sort of controversy with people, and you're not going to win, Libra, but that doesn't mean that if you are trying to advocate for peace or balance or harmony, that doesn't mean you should give up. However, you are running up against pretty stiff resistance, and that is because Mars and Pluto in Capricorn, along with the Moon, are all squaring Mercury in your sign, and Uranus, which is backed up by a trine from Jupiter in Leo, is opposing your sun sign. So there can be something unstable in your life right now, Libra. You can almost feel as if somebody is rocking your boat in one way or another. You are not going to win against an authority figure right now, so I hope you don't challenge one. You can still be talking about, hey, let's be fair or let's compromise, but I don't think a lot of people are listening at the moment. But you can stick to your own point of view, particularly when you think it's for the good of everyone. The good news is with those 3 planets in Scorpio right ahead of your sun sign, there can be some more money around for you, Libra. And it can either be coming through additional funds from a partner or an employer, or it can be an inheritance, or it can be some money that has been owed to you that is finally paid. That would be good, or a grant. So I do think there is some more money coming your way because Venus, your own ruler, is conjuncting the sun in Scorpio, and that is a wonderful aspect. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean for a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, you are very powerful right now for 2 reasons. First of all, the Sun and Venus are conjunct in your sign, and that can make you loving. And the thing that you would love is justice, or you would love thinking of ways to survive now, and you certainly will be thinking of that for yourself and your loved ones, which is good. And Saturn is still in your sign, which means that no one can knock you over, and that you are very determined to do the right thing. And also you're sort of determined to get paid what you should be getting paid. And so I think that with a lot of patience and with loyal friends, there can be some long withheld recognition or reward finally coming your way, which is great. But there's more to the story, Scorpio, and that is because Neptune in Pisces is trining your sun, which means you may finally have a way to make a dream come true. And you may be really ready for that now, and I would suggest that the timing is better after the first of the year. In other words, you've sort of got to get through the holidays and you'll be busy then, but you can be trying things out and then have your plans set by the first of the year, which is good. Also, your rulers, you're strong because your rulers, Mars and Pluto, are in Capricorn sextiling your sun along with the Moon, when Mars and Pluto exactly conjunct on November 10th and 11th, there is really going to be something heavy duty coming down. That's why I'm talking about a gavel coming down. That could be the time when that happens and when there is a final decision or announcement about something very serious. But it would be irrevocable, there would be no appeal, and it could be establishing justice, long-term security, and survival, particularly financial survival. I think you're going to be instrumental in advocating for all of that you could have been helpful in one way or another, trying to get people back on track and thinking about long-term security or thinking about matters that have to do with career and public reputation. So you may be helping somebody who is going to make a final pronouncement, and it would do you good. It would be credit to you as well. Okay, what does that mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is simply a time when I think that you're sort of caught between two powerhouses, and that is because your sign is right in the middle between the 3 planets in Capricorn and the 3 planets in Scorpio. So you certainly have a buffer of power around you, Sagittarius, but there isn't anything in your sign anymore. And although Uranus and Jupiter are trining it, it simply means you've got to sort of be on the up and up right now, Sagittarius. And if there is a financial problem behind the scenes that has been dogging you, it's going to keep dogging you. You may have to take on additional responsibilities and burdens in order to pay all your bills, but there can also be some loving help with that now because the Sun and Venus are right behind your Sun sign. So you have a lot going for you, Sagittarius, as long as you're sort of on the move, as long as you get going, as long as you go into action right now and not let anything stop you. I think you'll do fine. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, I think that you are going to have to really just concentrate and put blinders on so that you're only looking at your own long-term security and not getting involved in other people's quarrels, which could be quite easy to do right now because there can be rebellious people around who are leaving suddenly, and there can be people that are pretty laid back and just sort of want to let everything stay the same. Neither side is going to win. And so what you've got to do is simply concentrate on what is best for your long-term security and your long-term plans. And oh boy, you are being backed up by those 3 powerful planets in Scorpio, which means there is going to be some money around behind the scenes to help you. And justice will be done. So you may be instrumental in helping somebody make a final decision. That decision, if you're making it, should be just about your future and nobody else's, Capricorn. So stick to that, because that, in the end, it's you that's got to survive. And that's why I think you should think about that and only go for that instead. And don't get caught up in the turmoil around you. It doesn't have anything to do with your long-term plan, so don't waste your breath. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is simply a time when I think that you're sort of up against it. And the reason why is there can certainly be charming people around that just want everything to stay the same and have harmony. And that can be because Mercury in Libra is trining your Sun. That's great. But that planet is involved in a harsh aspects with other cardinal signs, so I don't think it's going to win right now. And you have other problems. Mars, Pluto, and the Moon in Capricorn are right behind your Sun sign. And that means when the gavel comes down and a decision is made, it is really going to affect you, Aquarius. And I would say that the die is cast. In other words, there is, and it will not show too much in your outer life, but behind the scenes, there is going to be something that is, I think, going to represent some sort of ending or missed opportunity, and it is not coming back. And so you'll just have to deal with that. There's also the possibility that could be related to money, because the Sun and Venus and Saturn in Scorpio are squaring your Sun, and then the 3 planets in Capricorn are right behind your Sun sign, but it's Mars and Pluto that are the heavy-duty ones. And so I think when some sort of announcement is made, it could affect your career or your public reputation, but not in a way where a lot of people can see it. And that's why I think the die is cast and it represents an ending or a missed opportunity. And you'll just have to accept it, because there will be no appeal. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a good time for you, a very lucky time actually, because the powerhouse planets, the 6 of them, 3 in Scorpio and 3 in Capricorn, the ones in Scorpio are trining your sun, and the ones in Capricorn are sextiling your sun. That means you really have a lot of support around you right now, Pisces, and that is enough support to help make a dream come true. So when the gavel comes down and some sort of announcement or decision is made, if I were you, I'd keep my ears open for a good opportunity that can come your way. And I think that not only can you make a dream come true, but you can probably take a step up in some way, either by forming your own company or getting a promotion in a rather good company or agency. So congratulations. All right, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.